Something's happening at Aston Martin. Not a rumor. Not a concept sketch. Something real. And no one on the grid is ready for it. Because this time, ADRIAN NEWEY isn't improving a car. He's reinventing how a Formula One team even works. Internal reports suggest the 2026 project doesn't just have his fingerprints on it. It is his project. Every surface, every system, every decision. And if the new structure delivers what the data is already hinting at, this won't just be another strong team. This will be the first time in over a decade that ADRIAN NEWEY has complete control of everything. And what's coming terrifies the entire paddock. When ADRIAN NEWEY walked away from Red Bull, people assumed he was slowing down. That maybe this was the beginning of a quiet exit. A final chapter for the most brilliant mind in Formula One design. But they were wrong. Because what Newey saw in Aston Martin wasn't a project, it was an opportunity to build everything his way. This time, he's not inheriting a structure. He's defining it. From the layout of the factory corridors to the information flow between departments. Nothing at Aston Martin happens without passing through Newey's system first. And that's the part the public doesn't see. Because behind the glossy car launches and power unit deals, there's something more strategic unfolding. Dan Fallows, Eric Blandon, Luca Ferbato. 3 brilliant minds who were already reshaping the team. Now work under a singular vision. Their independence hasn't been removed. It's been unified. Newey isn't micromanaging. He's orchestrating. And what he's building isn't just a car. It's a self-sustaining development ecosystem. One that feeds itself, improves itself, and corrects itself faster than anything on the grid. That's why the paddock is uneasy. Because they know what Newey can do with talent. But this time, he has more than that. He has structure. He has budget. He has time. And for the first time since his early days at Red Bull, he has total control. The first sign that something was different didn't come from the wind tunnel. It came from the meeting rooms. Under Newey, Aston Martin has restructured how decisions are made. Design no longer flows vertically. There's no top-down approval, no segmented handoffs. Instead, everything feeds into a circular system, where concepts evolve in real time across departments. It sounds simple, but it's not. Because most teams, even the great ones, still separate their departments. Aerodynamics fights with packaging. Powertrain argues with cooling. Electronics get patched in last. But at Aston Martin now, those barriers are gone. Newey's influence has turned the technical office into a fluid system. One where the airframe, suspension, cooling, and hybrid layout are all designed at once. Not sequentially. Not experimentally. Strategists inside the paddock are already seeing the ripple effect. In recent months, Aston Martin engineers have stopped requesting feedback from external simulation providers. Why? Because they don't need them anymore. Their internal loop, between concept, simulation, and validation, is faster than anything the third-party labs can offer. And it's not just the speed. It's the depth of the models. Rumors suggest that Newey has introduced a layered simulation logic that allows for cross-checking aerodynamic behavior, against thermal load, against deployment strategies, all within a single frame. Which means Aston Martin doesn't need to guess how the car will behave. They already know. At first glance, the 2026 regulations seem strict. 2 aerodynamic modes. Standardized energy deployment logic. FIA issued control units to manage active components. But Newey's never been interested in what's written. He's always been more dangerous in what's missing. And that's where things start to get uncomfortable. Because the rules say when a car can switch aero modes, but they don't say how a car must decide when to switch. There's no restriction on how much data can inform the decision, as long as the final signal is delivered through the FIA-approved logic box. And that's exactly where Newey's system may be hiding. Insiders are suggesting that Aston Martin has built an internal layer, a kind of predictive logic module, that feeds pre-processed data into the control unit, allowing the car to anticipate corner load, grip levels, and deployment strategy, before the driver even commits to a braking point. It's not illegal. At least, not yet. But it's exactly the kind of concept the FIA didn't anticipate. Because they assumed the teams would treat active aero as a reactionary tool. Newey? He's using it as preparation. And if that's true, if the AMR26 is actually predicting aero behavior based on environmental and mechanical foresight, then what he's built isn't just a car with a clever switch. It's a car that makes decisions. Legally. And that's the problem. Because once again, the FIA is chasing an idea they didn't see coming. Everyone's focused on whether the AMR26 will be fast. But that's not the part the paddock is truly afraid of. It's the speed of execution that's changing everything. Because in Formula 1, the real battle isn't always won on race day. It's won during the 6 weeks between races. In how quickly you can turn data into performance. Most teams are still trapped in sequential development loops. Test, analyze, simulate, build, retest. Aston Martin is breaking that loop in half. Newey's system doesn't just model performance. It models response. So instead of waiting for tire degradation to tell them something's wrong, the car is already adjusting its strategy through software logic to avoid reaching that point in the first place. It's a different mindset. Other teams tune their cars like musicians adjusting an instrument. Aston Martin is writing the entire score in advance and giving the car freedom to improvise when the rhythm changes. That means shorter setup times on Friday, fewer in-session corrections, and critically, faster integration of upgrades. While Mercedes might need a race weekend to validate a new component, Aston Martin can feed it through their internal simulation ecosystem, validate it across all track types, and decide, within hours, if it's race ready. And when something doesn't work, they don't guess. They just pivot. Instantly. That's what no one is explaining. The performance gap isn't just aerodynamic. It's operational. And once that starts to show up in qualifying runs, tire choices, or weather-based strategy calls, the other teams won't just be behind on track. They'll be behind everywhere. Inside Red Bull, the mood has shifted. Not because they doubt their car, but because they know exactly what Newey is capable of. When he's finally given a blank canvas, and for the first time in over a decade, he's building something they won't see coming until it's already racing. That's why Red Bull has started to accelerate its internal audits. They're reviewing their simulation flow, testing tighter integration between departments, and, quietly, they've begun scouting for software talent in areas they previously ignored. It's not about the RB20. It's about staying alive in 2026. Ferrari's reaction is more chaotic. They've never fully rebuilt their operational model. And now, they're paying for it. Internal sources suggest that at least one senior engineer has already flagged a 6-week delay in integrating aero and powertrain development tools. The concern? They'll be locked into a chassis concept before their energy deployment models are ready. In Maranello, that's a nightmare scenario. Because if Aston Martin's car is adjusting logic on the fly, and Ferrari is still using preloaded parameters from static track models, then they won't be racing the same sport. Not in real time. Not in data flow. Not in anything that matters over 57 laps. Mercedes, meanwhile, is on high alert. The W17 engine program, once the most promising 2026 project, is now facing unexpected pressure. Why? Because power alone won't be enough. Their concern is that Aston Martin might not need the best engine if their car is the most intelligent, which means Mercedes is now looking at integration first, hardware second. And across the grid, the same fear is spreading. What if it's not about who makes the most power or the most downforce? What if it's about who adapts the fastest? And what if Newey has already won that race? There's no confirmation yet. No FIA ruling. No protest lodged. Not officially. But if you walk through the paddock, listen closely in the simulator rooms, or pay attention to the sudden silence coming from rival garages, you can feel it. They know something's coming. Not a regulation breach. Not a scandal. Something worse. An idea. Because if the AMR26 rolls out in Bahrain, and it works as expected, if the car adapts faster, manages its system smarter, and exposes every inefficiency around it, this won't just be an Aston Martin success story. It will be a turning point for Formula 1. Because every team will have to ask one question. Are we building cars for speed, or for intelligence? And once that question is on the table, you can't go back to the old way of doing things. So maybe this isn't just a new car. Maybe this is the beginning of a new era. One not defined by horsepower or downforce, but by logic, speed of adaptation, and systems that learn faster than people. If that's what Newey has really built, then what happens next might change everything.